AMD AGESA 1.2.0.2 BIOS improves intercore latency for Zen 5 Ryzen 9000 CPUs, 58% reduction and major performance uplifts. AMD quickly addresses Ryzen 9000 Zen 5 intercore latency issues with AGESA 1.2.0.2 BIOS firmware massive improvements. A few weeks ago, it was reported that AMD was working on a patch to improve the intercore or core-to-core latencies for its newly launched Ryzen 9000 Zen 5 CPUs. Since various tech outlets discovered that the latencies weren't optimal with up to 180 to 200 nanosecond latencies when two cores from different CCDs communicate with one another. This led to suboptimal performance and far worse results than what were seen on the Ryzen 7000 Zen 4 CPUs. It looks like AMD has patched this intercommunication between the cores and CCDs in its latest AGESA 1.2.0.2 BIOS update. ASUS announced the first roll of this particular BIOS and currently rolls out across the range of X670E, B5, 650E and 650 motherboards. This means that the PC users who are running any of the updated motherboard with the Ryzen 9000 chip can leverage the new BIOS and see noticeable gains. And Tech Forum member Detox managed to update his ASUS ROG Crosshair X670E Gen motherboard with the latest BIOS and posted results comparing the previous BIOS to the latest one using the CapFrame X core-to-core latency tool. The results are quite impressive with the older BIOS, and the user saw an average latency of 180 nanosecond between the CCDs and around 18 to 20 nanosecond when the core communication on the same as CCD. With the new BIOS, the average latency drops down by 58% to 75 nanosecond when communicating across CCDs, and inter-CCD latency remains the same as 18 to 20 nanosecond. Now inter-core latency shouldn't impact overall performance a lot since AMD scheduler mostly leverage the single faster CCD for gaming application, but in multi-threaded application it looks like the uplift from the AGESA 1.2.0.2 BIOS fixes are quite substantial. Users are reporting that they are getting up to 400 to 600 points improvement in Cinebench R23. A few users who own the Ryzen 9950X also reported that both CPU Z and 3D Mark CPU benchmark have seen noticeably uplifts, and the best part is that the BIOS runs flawlessly without any issues. And if you can see about the conversation here by the Beowulf, anyone else running 2401 BIOS with 9950X or a 9000 CPU, I noticed my Cinebench 23 score went up about 300 to 500 points. With this BIOS I was around 46,700 to 46,900. Now I am hitting 47,300, and with Benchmate and real-time priority I am hitting 47,600. The other user by the Donnie Yan also confirmed that my Cinebench is also up by about 300 to 400 points up. Latency seems to be a little better across all the benchmark at the same setting. CPU Z and 3D Mark CPU test went up for me also, so seems to be all around boost in perf. Some interesting information was also shared by the author of the Y Cruncher benchmark, who stated that the latency issue were due to the change in the tuning parameter for Zen 5. Changes were made as they are showing results in the workload tested by the engineering team, but in the synthetic benchmark they showcased bad result, which is why AMD is now reversing its decision and rolling out this new patch. The author was surprised that the patch rolled out this fast, as the architect said it could take a while to get it out due to the validation, but it looks like ASUS has rolled out the update and it works as intended to resolve the intercore latencies. That was faster than I thought. I guess I can say that this now did it happen. One of the lead architect told me that the latency regression was because they changed a bunch of the tuning parameter for Zen 5. It helped whatever workload they were testing against, which is why they did it. But now that the review are out, they realized that the change looked really bad for synthetic, so they were going to roll it back, but they said it would take a while due to validation. I honestly didn't think it would happen for at least a couple months. Overall, this is a great news for AMD Ryzen 9000 and 5 CPUs owners and the Red Team in general. Other manufacturers are expected to roll out these respective AGESA 1.2.0.2 BIOS updates later this month, so we can see more users getting updates to the new firmware for the smoother and stable experience with Zen 5 chips. The BIOS will also include the new 105W TDP mode for AMD Ryzen 7 and 700X and Ryzen 5 and 600X CPUs.